Sleaze presented by McDonald's. Best part about working at McDonald's is the people.
I'm very upset about something, Barnes, and I actually don't need to be talking to you.
What?
I wish your wife, Heather, were here.
It's not bring your wife to work day.
This is major news.
What?
This is major news. Lucas Bravo, who plays Gabriel on Emily in Paris, might be leaving. He
Why?
says it's not fun anymore. He actually came out in an interview and said, can you imagine you are the producers of Emily in Paris, your Netflix, and one of the major stars in the show is talking about how disappointed he is in the show's direction and his character's evolution?
And any dude whose last name is Bravo needs to hold tight just a second, but
he's the hot guy on there.
It's one of the top 5 shows. Didn't some guy in Bridgerton do the same thing?
Yes, he described his character as slowly turning into guacamole. Yes, he's questioning the show's storylines, the restrictions on the set's creativity, questioning whether he will return for season 5.
Bro, with guacamole comes chips. Just take it out. You're getting paid. You get to travel to France, Italy every year to film.
I'm shocked that he would do this. I mean, he's her major love interest.
Well, he's going to find himself thinking he's going to go on to, much better pastures and end up begging to get back on that show.
Okay, I think I'm better now.
Well, I don't even watch the show and I'm pissed at this guy. Bravo.
Well, she'll be in Rome next, so. You probably caught this the other day. Jason Kelsey apologized for using the same slur that was used against his brother over the weekend when he was on Penn State's campus.
What listen to this. What did you think of it? I mean, I saw when he first did it, and and as you study it, tell me, is this like from the heart, or is this from gun to the head from the network?
Listen, I'm not happy with anything that took place. I'm not proud of it, and in a heated moment, I chose to greet hate with hate, and I just don't think that that's a productive thing. I really don't. I don't think that it leads to discourse, and it's the right way to go about things. In that moment, I fell down to a level that I shouldn't have. So I think the bottom line is I try to live my life by the golden rule. That's what I've always been taught. I try to treat people with common decency and respect, and I'm going to keep doing that moving forward. Even though I fell short this week, I'm going to do that moving forward and continue to do that.
I mean, that seems forced. Does it?
Wait, I don't think the network had, anything to do with it. I think it was his badass wife, Kylie. She probably said, hey, we have children. This is setting a bad example.
Well, the network, come on. You can't have your commentators out beating people up and calling them that.
He seems super subdued, but I thought he was sincere.
He did. That's a good word. Subdued.
He was very subdued.
It didn't seem authentic and like it was coming from him.
He's not a subdued dude.
No. And by the way, picking a fight with a 300-pound former lineman is kind of stupid anyway.
I talked about this the other day in Sleaze. Netflix released Monday the trailer for Cold Case, Who Killed JonBenet Ramsey. It's a 3-part series investigating, of course, the 96 murder of 6-year-old JonBenet Ramsey, bringing it all back again. Let me know what you think of the trailer, Barnes.
Can you imagine if you're a network and you're taking a real meeting and there are so many great shows and great ideas, and then here comes these dudes in suits and like, hey, I've got an idea. Let's do a documentary on JonBenet Ramsey.
Again.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
It was a case that people couldn't stop talking about. Some people don't think it's ever going to be solved.
We have a kidnapping. There's a note left in our tablet drawer.
JonBenet Ramsey was in child beauty pageants.
The tabloids were crucial in pushing the narrative. They were untrue, unfounded, but that didn't matter. It was a good story.
People hated the Ramseys.
I did not kill my daughter, JonBenet.
The Boulder Police Department made a lot of mistakes early on in this case.
There is evidence of an intruder. I say this over and over and over again.
If this case is ever going to be solved, we might be looking at the best chance right now.
We've been ruling people out for the wrong reasons. Everybody should be back on the table. You have to go deeper.
I mean, I say all that, but I'll be the first to watch it.
I know. I was going to say the same thing.
That when they moved to Atlanta after the murder, the house is over on West Paces Road, very near Canoe. It's
I
got
know
like
what that
a
is, yeah.
terracotta roof. Is that what you say? Terracotta roof? That brown, whatever? Is that the right thing? Or is
Terracotta.
that a dessert? I never get those two right. And it's got a gate, an iron gate, big hedges. It's right there by Canoe.
Well, with all the true crime stuff and podcasts and things, sometimes people help solve mysteries and murders.
Well, none of these people were born that are new to watching this.
Well, think about the Menendez brothers all over again, and I watched both. I watched the Ryan Murphy one. I watched the documentary. So I'll be watching.
No, yeah, I'm right there with you. I cast a stone, but I'm right there.
Also mentioned this, James Vanderbeek in his cancer announcement. Now he is expressing regret that his loved ones had to find out about it on social media. He revealed in a recent podcast interview that he had kept his diagnosis private, but was prompted to go public due to a tabloid threat.
That sucks.
Wow.
Come on.
That is awful that somebody was like, they probably said, we're going to reveal this unless you say something.
I mean, you got people in doctors' offices selling out information. I mean, who else is doing it? That's just awful.
It's awful. Richard Gere is leaving for Spain. He sold his Connecticut home for $10.75 million. I guess the house used to belong to Paul Simon and Edie Brickell. He bought it in 2022 for $10.8 million, and he's selling it for $10.75 million. So not a big markup. Interesting. His wife is from Spain, so they're going to move to Spain. How about that?
Great. How great to have that option.
Can you imagine living in Spain? And talk about selling homes. George Clooney sold his home that I guess used to belong in 1995 to Stevie Nicks. Wow, he bought it in 1995 from Stevie Nicks for $2.2 million. Hosted a lot of big parties there. He just sold it for $14.5 million. Now that's a markup.
Man, these celebrities just walk through the door and then they can turn it around for several million more.
7,000 square feet. It's also got, tennis court, which I'm sure you would love, a pool. But who bought it? Olivia Culpa and San Francisco 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey. Newlyweds.
7,000. That's not that big. I mean, it's big.
7,000 square feet?
Yeah, there are plenty of houses around in Atlanta that are that size. That's not that huge, taking into consideration like a basement and 2 floors.
7,000
7,000?
Woo!
Okay.
I kind of think it's big.
It's big. I'm just saying it's not. When I don't think of like Monster Mansion.
Yeah, it's still like 7,000 square feet. Come on. Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio were giving an interview, and Brad started talking about his days as working as an extra and trying to get a line in the movie.
And I was an extra for good almost 2 years. I was in Less Than Zero. That was mine.
Can you get the stills from it? You're actually
it's in the movie. I'm standing in the doorway with an outstanding mullet. Outstanding. Bono would genuflect when he saw my mullet. I don't know how you were.
But tell me, in those days, were you trying to scene steal? Because traditionally, extras are trying to sort of get themselves seen.
No, we try to get lines so we can get our SAG card, at least at that time. But I was an extra in a Charlie Sheen movie, and I was a waiter, and they were all, it was No Man's Land, D.B. Sweeney, and they were all sitting around a big table scene, and I come up with the bottle, and I'm supposed to pour champagne. And I come around, and I think, man, I'm gonna try to get a line in. I'm gonna try, because they're all having a conversation. I figure maybe I can slip this in. And I pour this young actress a glass of champagne, and I go, would you like anything else? And she looked at me and goes, and the director goes, cut. And the first AD goes, you do that again, you're off the set. And I go,
oh no.
Yeah, you cannot open your mouth. Isn't it crazy to think of him in Less Than Zero as an extra?
An extra in a Charlie Sheen movie? Like, how did that turn out? So, do you know what his big breakout role was, right?
Thelma and Louise?
Yeah, Ridley Scott directed that. That was 1991. He got paid $6,000.
There is nothing worse than being an extra. I did it in high school, and actually was on like the program where you could work in high school and leave early. It was called DECA.
Oh, wow.
I was out for 2 weeks on the dumbest movie ever. And it's so awful. You have to sit around for like $100 for 12 hours. It was called The Legend of Billie Jean. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Wait, what were you in The Legend of Billie Jean?
An extra. I was a nothing. I was in high school.
So you just kind of stood around.
In multiple scenes, I'm like walking behind her, Helen Slater.
Wow.
It had a great cast. And remember Pat Benatar did the, what are you running from?
Oh, that song. Yes.
It sucks if you ever get the opportunity to be an extra or to see that movie.
That is your Celebrity Sleaze.